Good morning. Well, I guess good whatever time of day it is.
Morning, afternoon, evening, 3 a.m.
Who knows?
Whatever it may be.
Who knows? We're here today to talk about some Server 2012. In fact,
Server
administering
2012.
Windows Server 2012. Yeah, this is the Server 2012 room. Are you in the right? Are you in the
No,
right
I'll
room?
stay. That's okay. I'll stay.
You know Server 2012, right? I mean, well enough.
A little bit.
Fair. That'll work.
That's what you're here for.
Oh, good. So we're relying on me. Awesome. We're here today, again, administering Windows Server 2012. This is a continuing video in a series of videos we're doing on Server 2012 that follow along the Microsoft Certified Systems Administrator path.
Let's just say MCSA and leave it at that.
MCSA is probably a better way to put it. And this is number 2. This is our second in that series. So we're here to expand on the first one that is already an MVA. So hopefully if you're watching this, you've already seen that one. In fact, we'll talk about that potentially being a prerequisite here in just a little while.
All right.
Intros, I think. Is that what we
Sure.
start with?
Well, who are you?
I'm Christopher Chapman. I'm a content project manager here at Microsoft, working on Microsoft official courses and MBA courses, as you see here. This is what I do. I make videos, I write videos, talk about videos, tell people about videos. It's pretty much what I do for a living. So, and then I do some courses as well, our actual official courseware. So I've got a whole bunch of background in here. I'm not going to
video, and occasional courseware.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is actually almost exactly how it works these days.
All right.
So,
well, I'm Ed Lieberman, and I am it says technical trainer because that's still what I call myself, although at Pluralsight we're called authors. So I'm a technical author at Pluralsight. And what that basically means, if you're not familiar with Pluralsight, is I do videos, and more videos, pretty much like you do.
Oh, fair enough.
So yeah, pretty much you have a couple of video guys here. So
I think that means we'll do okay on video.
Well, one would hope.
We'll see.
Well, you know that'll be up to them to decide.
I sort of need a haircut, so.
So why don't we talk a little bit about what we're going to cover throughout this course?
Okay. There's quite a bit, actually. We've got 13 modules to cover, 13. I do believe.
Yes.
Here's your list. I'm going to leave this up on the screen for a minute. You can just take a look. I'm not going to walk through talking about every single one of these because we're going to be talking about them for the next, 10 to 15 hours. So
you don't want to just read a list to them?
I don't,
no,
honestly.
Okay.
I mean,
that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's there.
I think the most important thing is right now, pay attention to number 1 because that's about where we're about to head, right?
I will say managing and troubleshooting DNS is where we're going to start with. Now, a preface to this as we get started on this course, the prior course, which is, again, in MVA, which is the Installing and Configuring Windows Server 2012, contains information that is complementary to this. In fact, half of it's a prerequisite to this. So we've gone through this content and we've trimmed out things that are in that prior course. You may not, the content may be less than you're expecting because there was some overlap in the original courses that we used as our basis for this. So if you jump into this, we're going to jump right into this. You're going to get into a topic right away that you may think, well, I'm missing some of the fundamentals, some things I feel like would be prerequisites. They're in that prior course, Installing and Configuring Windows Server 2012.
Yeah, there are definitely fundamentals that you're going to want to be up on before watching this. And not to say that I want you to stop watching if you don't have those fundamentals, but just keep in mind that as you're listening, if something seems confusing and you don't have the fundamentals of that technology, maybe pick up on what you can, but then go back and learn those fundamentals.
Well, and we have quite a few. So we have the prior course here, which is Installing and Configuring Windows Server 2012. We also have some Microsoft Technology Associate courses in Microsoft Virtual Academy. Right now, the networking one is up. The security one is in progress. I know this video will be online eventually, so me talking about timelines doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
Yeah.
But right now today, as we're here on camera, networking is in there, security is on its way. Server fundamentals will be shortly.
So basically you just dated us.
I sort of.
Because now they know exactly when we are on camera.
Well, see, now the problem is I have to get them done because if they come watch this video 3 months from now and like the server OS fundamentals still isn't there, I've probably gotten in a bunch of trouble.
Or you're off the hook, one or the other, because now they'll say, well, he said it's to come. They must have just recorded this a day ago.
It could be. So just assume I recorded this yesterday.
Yes, or today.
Yeah. So I think we should dive in. I think we can.
We go right into Module 1 here, which happens to be Managing and Troubleshooting DNS. And I think this is a perfect example of what you were talking about with regards to the, it seems like we're diving right in. And, you can see that right out the gates. This is actually going to be a very demo-heavy module here, lesson here, because we're not here today to necessarily show you specifically what DNS is and how to implement it, but here it's more how to manage it once you have it up and running. So we're just going to jump right in and talk a little bit about something called time to live, along with aging and scavenging. And it's funny because I had commented about how throughout the years, been teaching this. It's kind of been the same slide that we've used, I think, since like 1995.
This one right here?
No, and it's not this one, and that's the cool thing. This is the first time we actually just put up a nice little chart, actually explaining what time to live, aging, and scavenging is, as opposed to it was nothing more than a couple of arrows that were showing a timeline, showing how on the first of the month you start a process, and with that process, you have a certain time to live, which is, it indicates how long a DNS record remains valid. Okay, so I mean, it's just what it sounds like. It's how long does it have to live? How long? What's its life cycle? But then we have this, and I know we're gonna take a look at this in just a moment in the demonstration. But there's a 7-day aging cycle. Okay, which is where the record has been inserted into the DNS server, or that record that's on the DNS server that has reached its expiration is then removed. Okay, and this is, especially with dynamic DNS, this is very important so that you don't end up with a whole lot of old, stale records out there. And then we have another 7-day process for something called scavenging.
What's the risk to old, stale records? Why don't I want them? I mean, it's DNS. It doesn't seem like if my DHCP server is handing out addresses correctly or things are registering correctly, there shouldn't be any trouble.
It's funny because, well, there's a lot of argument as to whether there is any harm to those old records. I mean, other than clutter, and quite honestly, if you have something that's reused and now you have a conflicting record, you have a problem there.
So is DHCP aware of what's in DNS so that when I'm handing out DHCP addresses, it knows not to hand out something that may be in DNS but is stale potentially?
That's a trick question.
Why?
Well, it depends on how you set it up.
It's tricking me.
You're just trying to tease everybody for stuff that's going to come later. Anyway, the last piece of this, and then we're going to go ahead and jump in and take a look. I'm going to hope that that Christopher's got his demo all ready to go here. We're going to jump in and see how this all works. But scavenging is a process of basically taking those old records, once they've been removed, and I love how it says here, grooming for old records. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into the demonstration, and I think it'll make a lot more sense.
Okay. So we're right on my desktop. It's already here. Maybe. Or we're on
there
me.
It is.
We could be on me, so
yes.
It's entirely possible.
I could just draw it on you.
Oh, I need to hide some stuff here. I don't know how to unpin. Oh, I unpin it and it just sits there. That's good.
Yes.
Anytime?
Well,
there we go.
Oh, there we go.
So, a couple of things we're going to jump right into that I decided this morning as we were prepping for this that I wanted to do. Getting into the tools, first of all. Hit the start button. You see this. We could go into administrative tools, and DNS is right here.
And when you say hit the start button, you mean on your keyboard there? Or
I'm using the keyboard. You can also use the start button on the screen.
There. Okay.
Either one. I can go into here. I can see DNS. I can right click and I can pin it to the taskbar down here or to the start menu, which again, right here. Now I have DNS. But what I wanted to show, let's go ahead and take that off of there, unpin from start, is once you're in the start menu, you can just type DNS. Takes a second, there you go.
There is a third way that I think it would be nice to show, just to make sure, and that is to show if you're in the server manager, since we do spend so much time in there.
I did close that, I should have left it open. Let's get server manager open. So here's server manager. Should be familiar with this if you're familiar with 2012 at all, and tools and DNS.
Yep. So
and it's going to launch the same console.
A lot of ways you can get there.
There's more.
Yes.
But we won't. We don't need to go with this.
Wait, did you want to say, but wait, there's more?
But wait, there's more.
Okay.
There are other options, but we won't sweat them. So we have zones. We've got our DNS server and our first DNS zone, adatum.com. Our first demo, we're going to look at, in the Start of Authority tab, our minimum or default time to live, 1 hour. We'll change this to 2, just for the sake of looking at something later. There we go. Done. Now, that's just time to live. We still have to look at aging and scavenging, which is in the server right here. Set aging, scavenging for all zones.
Hey, look, there's that 7 days and 7 days that we used to always see.
There are your defaults, yep. Click OK. Right here, default settings for new AD integrated zones enabled. So what this means is if I create new zones in the future, it's going to inherit this setting, and those zones are going to have scavenging and aging turned on already. I can also apply to existing if I want, which I will. And that's it. And then you can right-click here and scavenge stale resource records
Manually.
when you need to, yeah.
Yep.
Don't have to do it manually, but you can. That's it. That's our first demo.
Woohoo.
Pretty straightforward.
Well, you know what that means? It means it's time for another demo. And the other demo is we need to now see how to test our DNS server configuration.
Okay.
And you know, real quick, I just want to mention while you're getting ready to jump in there is, again, what we're doing here, if it seems like we're just kind of jumping here, jumping there, well, that is kind of what we are doing. You already have DNS up and running. You already understand how it works. We're just showing you some of the actual management tasks that are involved. And the first one has to do with dealing with old records. The second one we're going to look at here has to do with just testing the configuration, making sure it's working, using a tool called NSLookup.
Yep.
So you have your system ready for that?
I do.
Well, let's take a look at it.
Well,
or we can look at you again. Wait, we can look. Oh, there we go.
Who doesn't want to see this? I did open up command prompt. How to do that, we're not going to worry about. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time.
How do you open command prompt? Okay.
NSLookup. And this is going to query the settings of my DNS server. You'll notice my default time to live on adatum.com has changed.
And what was the exact command? I missed it. You kind of typed it in and
scroll
hit
up.
enter.
Oh, you know what I should do? Let me do this real quick. I don't want to make anybody angry. So
you don't want old guys like me to have to squint, is what it is.
It could be. It could be that. Don't want that one. Let's do that one. There we go. That's a little better.
Oh,
It's
I can
not
see
great,
it.
But it's better.
It's better.
So I always forget to do that. I'm so used to just using the command prompt as is. So the command I typed in is up here. NSLookup. It's up here somewhere. NSLookup -d2 adatum.com.
And what is -d2?
It's just a test. It's just it's a query. I would say it's just a query, but it's DNS. Everything's a query. So
That's right.
It's just looking for a response from the server on the settings for that server. Questions right here. I get pointer records. I get headers. I get actually everything in here about the server. And it walks me through what it's sending. So it says opcode query. It's sending a query to adatum.com. It's looking for A records. Authority records on adatum.com. Start of authority. Again, we get our default TTL of 2 hours that I set.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. I don't use this part of it. I use NSLookup a lot. I don't use this part of NSLookup that often. I guess I haven't been in an environment where aging, scavenging isn't working or isn't configured correctly to the point I actually need to come in and get this sort of queried information from my DNS server. So.
Right. And actually, I also wanted to point out that with NSLookup, and again, I know we're not supposed to be doing the real fundamentals here, and this is typically covered there, but NSLookup can be interactive or non-interactive as well, in the sense that you did a full command, you can kind of jump into a more interactive mode with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes. I was like, what? I don't get it. I get it. Yes. You can use NSLookup
let's get Chris for some coffee.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. Yeah.
You can use NSLookup in sort of a real-time mode where you're actually querying a server on the fly, getting responses. So you can do that as well, yes.
Okay. So we've had a couple of demonstrations, and well, you know what that means?
More demonstrations.
Another demonstration. So now what we want to look at here is we want to look at how to monitor your DNS server. Right? We've already seen how to deal with some old records. We've seen how to actually test the configuration and make sure that it's working. Now we want to actually monitor and make sure things are running properly and we don't have all kinds of errors. And when it comes to monitoring, matter of fact, I think we have an entire module on monitoring near the end of this course.
Yes.
But one of the primary tools that's used is the event viewer, and taking a look at the event log. So we're going to look at the DNS event log in Event Viewer.
I don't know. Did people know there was a specific DNS event log in Event Viewer?
I don't know if people did. Did you know that?
Close this. Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully I did. Now let's see if I can find it.
I only knew it because it said it on the slide. That's all I know.
So again, I've opened up Start. I can do the same thing. Just type event, or I can go into Administrative Tools. Either one works. I'm getting more used to Server 2012 and Windows 8 and 8.1 where I do just hit start and type more and more often. I'm a start run kind of guy, so I'm used to typing commands in.
I'm with you on that.
Let's expand this just a touch.
Although I've gotten very used to doing it straight from Server Manager, which was the other reason I explicitly wanted to point that out earlier.
Yeah, I like Server Manager. I like the new Server Manager, but I haven't really gotten into using it all that much.
It became habit for me. That's really all it is.
So in our applications and services logs, we have the Windows logs. These are the ones you're probably used to: application, security, setup, and system. Application and system are the two logs that I've spent far more of my life in than I need to admit.
Yep.
We're going to close that right here, DNS server. Got some warnings. Let's look at a warning. I don't know what these warnings are because I have not looked at them.
It's waiting for ADDS synchronization.
DNS service, waiting for initial sync is done. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of those.
Yep. The good news is that warning is not necessarily a problem.
Correct.
Error is what you want to watch out for.
Well, and it tells me right here, it says that until that's been completed, until it gets notification that the initial sync's done, the service cannot start.
Right.
Well, in the next message, the server started. So
Yep.
clearly that sync finished.
Exactly.
There we go.
Cool. That's it?
I think we have more demos.
Okay.
This is a very
we do.
demo heavy. I like this one because it's so many demos. Let's jump right into the next one.
Next one is DNS debug logging. So again,
Yes.
we're still monitoring DNS, but now we're using debug logging.
Well, and we're jumping right back into a previous tool.
Yes.
And just for fun, I'll go through Server Manager. I like mixing it up. I want everybody to get used to all of the options.
Yes.
Let's go to DNS and Tools. We're going to go to Properties. So here are all the options for the server. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time in any of them except for debug logging.
So to be clear, you're on the properties of a server, not of a zone.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we can if we really want. I mean, why not? Because we're here. Oh, it's not. I've already got one open. It's not going to let me do it.
Yeah, you can. You just have to click on it first.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that's right. That's.
We're still in Windows 2000.
I don't like that DNS. That's. We won't talk about that. Debug logging. I can log packets. It lets me log just about anything. I mean, who doesn't want to watch all of their DNS traffic happen?
Yes.
And where does it go? Do you know?
Some kind of a log file.
It does go into some kind of log
Yeah,
file.
it actually tells you, and you can actually specify that if you take a look.
Right down here at the bottom.
Yep.
File path and name. So this does not go into the event log, where there are some applications that when you turn on event logging or debug logging within those applications, it just puts it into the existing event logs. Not the case here.
Right, and thank you. I'm glad you checked on that because this that you're looking at right now is the what's going to go into the event log.
There's a separate tab for event logging. So that's it. That's all we got. Is that it for demos? We have another demo,
have
don't we?
one more demo.
All right, so for this next one, I need to pull up the slide. It's PowerShell, correct?
It is PowerShell.
I know this deck inside
Wow. Did you sneak some coffee?
out. One of the things,
Okay.
natural adrenaline.
All right.
That's how excited I'm about DNS. Ready to go. Windows Server 2012 has come with new options for management of DNS, monitoring of DNS, configuration of DNS with PowerShell. So, and that's what this mentions, just says they've added additional parameters, they've added additional commandlets, which every version of Windows expands on this more and more. So I'm going to, in the demo, go back one slide. Oh no, go back pre-demos. I guess we skipped one, I think.
Pre-demos?
Yeah, there was one.
Are you looking for this one? No.
No, up, not down.
Yeah.
We see here, there we go. So in the managing DNS records, the configure TTL, I did a little cheat and I put some PowerShell on here. I didn't do this for my sake, I did it so the students could see an example. But these are some of the commandlets available. Set DNS server scavenging. I would run these and actually show you what it looks like, but it's PowerShell, it's just gonna bring up.
You would literally see Christopher typing what you see right there, and it would then set just as it did when he checked the boxes in the GUI.
Exactly. So and we're again assuming that there's been some PowerShell exposure at this point, so.
Hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna work with Server 2012, you should have a little bit of PowerShell exposure. You should have a lot of PowerShell exposure.
Yeah. And if you don't, you will.
Yes.
So.
Okay, so guess where that takes us?
To the end?
To the end.
We're just gonna sit here in silence and wait.
Yes. We're just, we're done. That's it. That's all we have.
My producer's back there pointing me at cameras.
I know he is.
He's pointing me at the wrong camera.
Over there. No. So here's the thing. Is that to say? I mean, is this everything there is to managing a DNS server?
Oh heavens, no.
No, not even close. But everything. Again, this is a progression of training that we're going through here. And it all builds on itself, and we want to give it to you in pieces so that you can actually hopefully absorb it, retain it, and be able to use it.
So the previous course you would learn some basics. This one we're learning a little bit about monitoring, troubleshooting. The next one you get into some design. DNS is a massive topic. I mean, it's your entire domain is dependent on it, not even potentially.
Yep. And I suppose we should maybe tell them if there's anywhere they can go to get extra information beyond watching us sit here and ramble on for...
There's a slide for that.
There is a slide for that. So if we can take a look at that slide real quick. We have a few options. You can go ahead and get out to a learning partner and take an instructor-led course. It's called 2411C, Administering Windows Server 2012, which I suppose we should say that this course that we're doing right here, right now, is, I guess, loosely based off of that.
It is.
As a starting point anyway. There's also books, the actual exam reference for the 70-411 Administering Windows Server 2012 exam. And then, of course, there are the exams and certifications themselves, which, if you haven't figured it out yet, based upon the course number and the book number, the test number is 70-411. How about that?
I will say the instructor-led course, so the information you're getting here today, it's quick, it's not hands-on for you, I mean, it's hands-on for us, we get to do some demos, but the instructor-led courses are 5 days of instructor-led, peer-joined, hands-on course. You're going to get virtual machines to play with, you're actually going to get to make the configurations, test the configurations, play with DNS, in this case, in this module, much more than we do here, but highly recommend I just highly recommend those courses.
Yeah, so. and there's a lot of options that are out there, and I suppose I could even throw out there, a quick mention. You can even go to Pluralsight and watch a course on it as well. Ooh, how about that? Ooh. But no, there's a lot of options that are out there. There are more books and there are more courses, but I will tell you that the exam ref. Is that Microsoft Press?
It is.
That is a Microsoft Press book, and and again, going to a learning partner, you can't go wrong. So I think that's pretty much it for this particular module.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we were able to start off quick and hopefully a little bit painless with you guys. And so go take a quick break and then we'll see you in the next module.
Yep.